Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on tonight? You ought to be fired up because you knew what was coming. It is now Thursday night. It is 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. Wherever you are in the country, just look at your clock. I don't know y'all time zone. Just look at it. Whatever time, this is the time when the one and only, the Guys Empire podcast show comes on. One of the best debate shows on the internet today. And once again, just from last week, has to be one of the fastest growing internet shows, podcast shows going. We only been on a couple of weeks. We already got 1,000 people watching us. I mean, come on. Could it be that it's Gene? Could it be that it's Trey? Could it be that it's Ryan? Could it be that it's Bino? And of course, could it be that I'm here? Y'all know who I am. I'm big time. Ain't no question about it. I'm here today. I'm surrounded by greatness, as you can see. Tonight, we ain't playing. We about to go to work. I'm about to get out the way. Everybody should know who these guys are with respect to the defending champ, Gene. And these guys here are steadily trying to knock them down, but they just can't quite get it done. I don't know what's going on. Gene, out of respect, what's going on, brother?
What's popping, big time? Always good to hop on with you. Appreciate the love and support earlier. It's been a long day, but I'm ready to talk some sports.
Man, let's get to it. Trey, what's going on, man? You ready tonight?
I'm always ready, man. You know what it is over here. Guys Huddle's always ready for anything we got going.
Oh, my goodness.
Being here.
Trey, if Trey saying that he said that Notoriety Sports is already ready to go to work, that means Ryan got to be ready with you. I mean,
yes, yes,
I see a smile on his face already. What's going on, Ryan?
Man, I've been ready. I've been waiting on this all day. Honestly, man, been grinding out content, trying to get stuff out there for the podcast. Been ready to whoop some ass today. You know, we're trying to get it all done. So,
whoa! I mean, good Lord, wait a minute now. We hitting home runs already. Good Lord! Right, last but not least, my brother, and I'm not even gonna do it to him tonight. But we all know why he my brother, because I see the star just shining over there. He's so bright over there. The one and only Bino. What's up, brother?
What's going on, big time?
Let's go to work, man. Let's go to work.
Fresh off the
y'all
vacation.
Ready? Because
brain's fresh.
You on vacation? Oh, well, you gotta get off vacation.
I just got back.
Hey, man, you gotta come to work now. You look, get them trees and palm trees out your head, and let's go now. I'm cheering for Bino now. I'm biased tonight. I'm sorry. Somebody got to take Gene out. Somebody. I needed y'all to say something right there. Y'all so quiet.
Go to work.
Let's go to work. Ain't no sense of waiting. Hello to everybody that's in the chat. Hello to everyone. We don't want to be rude. Thank you for taking this time before you go to bed tonight. Thank you for showing up tonight. Let's go to work now. Gentlemen, I ain't gonna even lie to you. It's gonna be kind of strange tonight. I got some crazy topics here tonight, and the reason why it's crazy because you guys are skillful. You should know what to do. Let's go to work. No sense of playing around. Here it is. Here's our first topic of the night. What is the most unbreakable record in sports? Again, that's all sports included. What is the most unbreakable record in sports? Everybody got 2 minutes out of respect. Time for the champ to take the stage. Let's go, Gene.
I mean, it's between two to me, and they're both, well, actually one's basketball, one's baseball. I don't think anybody's going to, with the diversity that's happened in women's basketball, I don't think anybody beats UConn's 111 straight wins in NCAA women's basketball. That is just unbelievable. But that's not my pick. Somebody can steal it. That's okay. There's a record in baseball that will never be broken. Back-to-back no-hitters, not touched. It doesn't happen, right? You see how rare a no-hitter is now? Guy has one no-hitter in his whole career. Nolan Rhyan had 7 no-hitters in his whole career. He's the greatest pitcher ever to play the game. Back-to-back no-hitters. I don't think it's ever broken. So it's between that or the women's 111 straight games, but I'm going to go with the back-to-back no-hitters. I think it's unbreakable. I don't see how you can do that in the baseball. And nowadays where pitchers don't throw 9 innings to begin with, they're always monitoring their arms. It's got to be 100 pitches. I think back-to-back no-hitters is the most unbreakable record in all sports.
Wow. That's a strong start. Bino, what you got?
I probably have to go with the Boston Celtics 8 straight NBA championships. I feel like this one's tough. There's so many records that have been broken that you looking at them now, it's like you don't even think they'll ever get broken. For example, like Steph Curry, his 3-point record, like that's unbelievable. But with the Celtics 8 straight championships, I just feel like in today's game, with all these guys in the league bouncing back and forth from team to team, and everyone trying to pretty much form a super team, it's going to be hard to win 8 straight championships in the NBA. I just don't see it happening ever again. So that's probably the one record that I'd have to go with that is unbreakable.
Wow. Ryan, what you got, brother?
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off Bino. I'm going with like rings itself for players, just because Bill Russell currently holds that title, and quite frankly, I don't see another player. Maybe back in the day for NBA, just because the super teams weren't as big as they're continue to growing to get. But it seems like with super teams, this league in this day and age, that you're not going to be able to get another player that's going to win 10, 11, 12, 13 rings. I don't see anybody topping that. So that's why I'm going to say rings, because I just don't see there's going to be another player. I mean, LeBron's been to how many finals now, and he's got 4. So,
Wow.
But rings would be my argument there.
Man, y'all coming out strong. Trey, you don't close us out with this one. What you think, man?
I'm glad Gene touched on the UConn thing. I wasn't even thinking about that. That was a crazy stretch, though. I'm going with one game record as my top one. It was hard, but Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points, I don't think will ever be broken. A lot of players have tried. Like Bino said with the super teams, if you got talent around your team, that's even less likely you score 100 points. The highest we've gotten since then is Kobe's 80. Modern day, we've had some 70s. 100 points in the game is just crazy, especially without a three-pointer. That record is especially untouched. No threes, 100 points. That's crazy. Another one I was thinking about might be Michael Phelps, Olympic medals. I don't think anybody. He was a machine.
Wow.
I figured I would pull up some stats on this. Since 1950, there's been 193,000 starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. Only 35 of them have thrown 2 no-hitters.
Crazy.
Can you imagine throwing back-to-back no-hitters? There's only been 3 in the history of baseball that have ever thrown 2 no-hitters in the same season. I look at that record as a whole, especially with modern-day pitching. Nobody pitches 8 innings. Nobody pitches 9 innings. Everyone gets to 7 innings. And, it's between that and women's UConn basketball. But if I have to really pinpoint something, you'll never see that done again. I don't care how dominant of a pitcher you are. It's just not going to happen, right? So I think that every record that each one of you guys have said is almost unbreakable. I just don't see there ever being a chance for someone to have back-to-back no-hitters and 2 straight starts.
Anybody else want to go ahead and defend their stake in this?
I would say you're not wrong there, Gene. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I just can't see another person winning 11 rings. I just can't see it. I don't know which are the odds. Obviously, I don't have an odds calculator or anything like that. But man, I would hope at some point in time there could be somebody that could throw back-to-back no-hitters. I hope I get to witness that, in my lifetime, that maybe that, does happen, So
maybe a group of unselfish teammates, they all stick together and they form a super team and they just win 10 or 11 straight. And you have that. I don't know. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen either. But if I'm being completely honest, yeah.
With today's contracts and today's money, I just don't see it happening. I don't ever see a team winning a franchise ever winning 8 straight. I mean, if you pay guys like Jaylen Brown $300 million, I mean, good luck. He can't even dribble with his left hand. So.
So you got a little bit more on this, man.
I just think 100 points is ridiculous, especially with no 3-point line. I don't know what the most points I was looking into it has been scored since then. without a three.
81, Kobe Bryant.
Didn't hit a single three, no threes.
Oh, no, not without a three.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like no threes. I'm getting into it now. Shaq had 61 with no threes, and that's 39 more points, Bucko. That is 20 more layups you got to hit. And the amount of time that it took you to get to your 61 points, I just think that is literally unbreakable. I don't even think we'll ever see another 100-point scorer, especially with no 3-point line.
Wow.
I think that's the closest one, though. I mean, forget the 3-point line. You can't take that. 100 points is the record you're talking about.
Right.
Like, they're not going to change that, right? I think out of the 4 that we mentioned, that's the closest one. Kobe at 81. There could be a guy who goes nuts from 3. I don't think it's going to happen either. But if we're looking at them and we're ranking them, like which one's the easiest to do of the 4, I would got to say the 100 points. Am I right?
I think it could happen. That's what I'm saying, though. I just don't think it will, especially with like the way the game's going. There's so much talent. Who's gonna just go out there?
I'm gonna have to call up Steph Curry. We're gonna need some expert shooting out there.
To go back on that, even especially in today's league, Steph Curry, like you said, if Steph Curry's having a lights out night, he's 7 for 8 from 3. They're pulling him in the third quarter because they're up a dub. Like if someone is on pace to score 100 points and it's a competitive game, that's not in today's league. It's not usually like that. Players getting pulled shortly after halftime if they're up by a dub in the regular season. And to score 100 points in the playoffs, I'd be in awe.
Wow. Gentlemen, that is a awesome way to start the evening. I don't think, as somebody said earlier, there is no right or wrong answer in this. Is really pretty much records that are pretty much are standing the test of time. I think everybody here has said one that really has not been broken yet, and maybe a long time before somebody even get close to it. I want to throw in an honorable mention before we move, and it's really not for debate. I just want to throw this one in. When it's all over for LeBron James, I just don't see nobody being that good for 20 plus years and scoring like that. It's going to be a long time, if any, can even catch him before this is all over. And I'm done with that. All right, let me move on to this one. And by the way, I'm not a LeBron James fan. It's just common sense. You got to be that good for that long. Here's a one, and I think I know why that question was put here. And guys, as smart as you guys are, y'all gonna know why, because you're gonna kind of know where it's leading to. Remember that first question: what is the most unbreakable record in sports? I didn't hear one, but check this out. Here's the next question: should steroids be legalized and monetized? Again, should steroids be legalized and monetized? And I'm going to go ahead and just say for all sports. That's what I'm going to go with. Let's go ahead and start with you, Ryan. Should steroids be legalized and monetized? 2 minutes.
This is a damned if you do, damned if you don't question. So I'm just going to put that out here. But this is my opinion, but just hear me out. Okay, I'm a firm believer there is good steroids and there's are not good at all steroids. What that means is I think steroids is such a broad spectrum. It's kind of like when you say drugs. Obviously, that's a wide variety of different things. I think there's plenty of good steroids out there that, you could help and be beneficial to players and muscle growth and different stuff like that aren't too harmful to the body, particularly the heart. I mean, you see a lot of people having heart attacks nowadays, you know what I'm saying? And with drug tests being given out for the good steroids, I think we could do that and make those. Obviously, there's already some drugs that are passed, but obviously the hard ones that obviously aren't good for the body, that aren't, that can show up on the 7-panel drug test, the ones that aren't really doing anything for you. I think there's a fine line there that we could find to make the legal steroids better in kind of like a wide rule pass versus the ones that are just garbage for you, don't do anything for you, and rule those out. So,
wow.
But if I had to give an answer, yes, I think we should, but there should be a line we draw in the sand.
Wow. Bino, come on, talk to me. Should it be legalized?
Honestly, man, I don't think so, to be honest. I just feel like, I guess in a certain way I can see why like they would be, but for the most part, I just feel like, you're cheating, like it's it's just part of it, and it's happened with so many players in the future or in the past for cheating. And I just don't. I mean, God, I'm a believer in Christ, so I feel like God made us a certain way. It's your body. If you want to put the work in, you put the work in to get bigger. You put the work in to get stronger. You don't need all this stuff to help you out to make you bigger. I mean, or hit harder, lift more, whatever it is. I just feel like it's cheating in my opinion. So that's just me.
Come on up, Gene. Talk to me.
I mean, I cannot believe this is even up for debate. The answer is no, right? So, and it's a clear no. It's not, I don't think so, maybe not. Steroids can lead to early heart attacks, strokes, liver tumors, kidney failure, psychiatric problems. And in addition to stopping steroids, it can also cause depression and lead to resumption of use. You guys are kidding me, right? You got a guy that works his ass off every day in the gym, that does it the right way, that doesn't want to harm his body, not for today or for tomorrow, doing it the right way, going into the gym, working day in and day out. Think of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's story, it's one of the best stories of all time. Wakes up 4 a.m. to get a workout in. 3:30, he's in the gym by 4 o'clock. He works out from 4 to 6. He eats breakfast, recovers. He's back in the gym by 8. 8 to 10, he's the second workout. He takes a break to recover. He's in the back in the gym at 12. 12 to 2, he gets a third workout. You want to talk about determination? You want to be better at something? Work harder at it. Don't cheat at it. And listen, Ryan, I get your point saying, well, some of them aren't too bad, or you can some of them are used for recovery. No. Because it's a slippery slope on what you end up allowing. If you're allowing performance-enhancing boosters and performance-healing boosters, you're giving yourself an edge over people doing it the right way that don't want to harm themselves long-term. The answer is no, and it's really straightforward. And by the way, I know I'm going to probably get poor points for this, but Dylan, don't pretend that this is a good question. This ain't no damn good question. This is a bad question. Steroids should not be used in sports. This is not good. These are professional athletes that take care of their bodies in the best way. And I don't think that you should allow people to cheat. And that's what they're doing. And think of sports like MMA. What you're gaining in a sport like MMA, performance-enhancing drugs, the rage that they create. And outside sports, murders, deaths from steroid rage. There's no way. Zero.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is fireworks have begun. I was waiting for the spark to be lit. I believe this question has done it. We got even just one more left to find out. Trey, I'm interested.
I'm
on your face. What's going on?
I'm going to go with a flat no as well. I don't think it's up for debate. One of the things I was going to touch on was health, but Gene hit that pretty hard. Another thing was like the slippery slope aspect. I was going to say that if you put a line on it and you draw a line in the sand, then people are going to get closer and closer to the line and people are going to step over it. That's in turn like the slippery slope thing. It's just going to invite people to cheat more than if they move a guideline and like, okay, we can do a little bit now, then people are going to push that and go over it. And it's just going to be cheating all over again. Even if it's allowed for everybody, someone's going to go over and it's not going to be good. Another thing I was going to touch on is you get people in professional sports because they're the best of the best. You want to see how crazy their human bodies can go, the skill they possess. That would put a line in the skill gap, I believe. You could get people who necessarily weren't as skillful, but now, you just got the big guy yacked up on steroids on the defensive line. He doesn't have to be good at football. And that's what you go for. You work your whole life to be the best, not the strongest, not the fastest, just the best at what you do. Because some of the guys that aren't physically capable of doing some of the things are just as good at the sport. People like J.J. Redick, Kyle Korver weren't the biggest, strongest guys, but they made a career shooting the ball. That would just diminish the skill gap in the sport world.
100%. And I want to address Dylan's comment instead of addressing your three comments because they all make a lot of sense. Outside Ryan's, I'm going to fight him later. I'm kidding. Dylan says everybody used steroids back in the day and nobody could hit a ball like Barry Bonds. Let me be clear. Barry Bonds is still one of the greatest baseball players ever to play the game. He was great before he took steroids. All steroids did was enhance that talent to make him better. What you're really asking is, do you want more Mark McGuire's? Do you want more Sammy Sosa's? Flashes in the pan players that have great seasons, and then all of a sudden when they get caught or when you see what's happening, look at Sammy Sosa now. Look at the way that man's deteriorating as a human being. Do we want that for people that we know? Do we want that for the athletes that we grow to love? No, the answer is no. just doesn't matter if you take steroids. You still have to be skilled to be great at the sport. It just creates an unnecessary advantage.
Ryan,
Yeah,
I need you because you were the only one. Go ahead, Bino. I'm sorry. Before I get to Ryan.
Nah, you good. You good. I just want to kind of throw out this comment as well from Jake Crawley. He said, too many health risks, especially if it's legal. It will be easier for young kids to use. And I feel like as athletes, like as all these NBA players, NFL players, MLB, like everyone that plays sports as kids, we all have that one superstar that we look up to and we want to be like. And if my favorite player is using steroids as a kid, and I know he's using steroids, well, what if a 15-year-old uses steroids, and like what the effects that it could have on such a young kid, like it's just not healthy to me. And I couldn't see him legalizing it.
That's a great
response. I want to get Ryan in here because he's the only one that is justifying this. Yeah, Ryan, you gotta, because it's some people need to know, because you are the minority in this. Ain't no question about that.
Yeah, so I don't mind being the minority. I got broad shoulders, man. So come on. First thing, like I said, there is going to be a line with anything that you legalize. There's always a line. Now, I'm not saying people don't cross over it. Even if it's illegal, people still cross over it. That happens. That's how life works. But I think you could educate yourself enough to where you could have good steroids, and there's bad steroids. There is good steroids, and there's also bad, terrible steroids. But it's just up to you to educate yourself in that option, if there was that option, to do that, to have the good ones, for the ones that are good for muscle, for deterioration, to bring back muscle. So all kinds of different things. Obviously, there's bad ones that are very bad for heart. I mean, look at all the wrestlers that used to use them. All of them have heart attacks. Macho Man, all them guys. I'm not saying steroids aren't bad, but there are steroids that are good. So, like I said, I can't rule them all out. So that's why.
Wow. Wow. I
got to give Ryan credit for even taking that stance, bro.
Yeah,
I don't agree with it. I think you're wrong, but I'll give you credit for standing on the limb and standing on your ledge and being all right with that.
Let me give you a little mix here. So when I was younger, I had a tumor in my shoulder. Had I not been on medical steroids to help rebuild my muscle and my neck, I wouldn't be able to have half the motion I have on the right side of my body.
Okay. Understood. That's legalized steroids.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like there's mixes there, so
I feel my
argument. So
I appreciate your stance, Ryan. I don't know if I 100,000% agree with it, but I hear it. I hear it, and myself have had to take legal steroids as well. So they subscribe it, so
I respect it.
Yeah, I respect your stance. Awesome debate there, gentlemen. Next question. Let's move. Before we move to the next question, let me say this to the people in the chat. Are you pushing that like button? I mean, this is, look, do something. Look, I don't mean to be rude, but hit the like button. Share it if you can. These guys know what they're talking about. We're enjoying ourselves. This is a nice debate show so far. Go ahead and share it. Listen, these guys are some bad boys. I'm telling you now, it's just getting started. This night not even over with. Watch what I'm telling you. Watch this next question. Let's see how they respond to this. Gentlemen, should athletes be required to be role models? Again, should athletes be required to be role models? Bino, let's start it off with you, brother.
My opinion, I feel like yes, in the same way, just because I played basketball my entire life, and I'll tell you who my role model was when I was growing up, and that was Tony Parker. Just because he couldn't dunk, he wasn't the greatest 3-point shooter. I mean, he could shoot threes, but his game was mainly dishing the ball and a floater, and that was my role model. I looked up to Tony Parker my entire life. I was trying to base my game around him because I'm not the tallest guy, and I couldn't shoot the ball over taller defenders at my age at the time. So I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like they should be required to be role models to just a certain degree. I mean, I guess I could see the other side of it too. Just kind of all the media and everything like that nowadays. I know it can probably be really frustrating and annoying for some athletes, but if you're a big time superstar, I think you should be required to be a role model. And you should show yourself professionally on the internet. Obviously not like Kevin Durant. I mean, he's got a whole burner account and stuff. But yeah, so I feel like guys like LeBron, he's obviously one of the biggest role models that we've ever seen with building entire school for kids and just what he does on and off the court. So yeah, I definitely would say they should be required to be role models.
Wow. Come on, Gene. You come from a city of people who thought this question was, I ain't gonna do it for you, but I know two guys that fit this category perfectly. Let's see if you do it. But talk to me, Gene. Should they be required to be role models?
No. They shouldn't act irresponsible, and they shouldn't act out of pocket or do things that are illegal, but they shouldn't be required to be role models. This is real personal for me, and that's why I highlight this comment. No substitute for parents. When your role models are athletes or actors, we're setting up for a world of failure. My role model, person that I wanted to most be like when I was a kid, was my father, my dad. My dad passed away 4 years ago, and 4 years ago last Saturday, 5 days ago. And I look every day when I walk out the door. I read a quote that is about my father and a prayer that's called Footprints. I think that athletes should be great at their craft. I think their job is to entertain. Their job is to be great at what they do. I don't need them to be someone I look up to. I don't need them to be that. I just need them not to do things that are illegal and irresponsible. What I want my role models to be, I want my role models to look out for me. I want my role models to be my parents, my dad, and family members that, I look up to, or even doesn't have to be family members, somebody from my neighborhood or somebody I know that knows me personally. I don't necessarily believe, and I know this, I don't know if this is against the grain or not, but I don't think that athletes should be required to be role models. Half of them can't really articulate what they want to say and what they want to intervene. There's only one role model I'll have in my entire life, and it's my father. It's the person that I look up to the most.
Wow. Beautiful. Great response, Gene. Trey, what's going on? Should they be required to be role models?
I'm on the same side of the spectrum as Gene. I don't think they should be required at all. If you take on that responsibility, that's on you. I seen an NBA player. I was trying to find out who it was. He did an interview on his podcast or on a podcast. He said that athletes that don't want to be role models are running away from responsibility that you have as an athlete. I think that's wrong. Like Gene said, and the comment said, I think you should raise your kids to not idolize people like that, because that's a fake person. Usually not, that's not the real them. Most of the time they're putting on a facade. That's the media. They have to put a front out. All the media is controlled and skewed. That's not the real person. So you're idolizing and you're role modeling after someone you don't even know. Like Gene said, a personal person in your life. You don't know that person. You know the people in your life. That's a random to you. And I think it dehumanizes an athlete to make them have to be a role model anyway. That means they have to be perfect. They're not allowed to make mistakes. Anything they do in the slightest, whether it's intentional or not, is now mainstream news, and they're just a bad person for a mistake they made. I think that's a dehumanizing thing. At the end of the day, they're people. They're not robots. They're going to make mistakes, especially when you have rookies coming into the league before 21 years old. They're not even legally allowed to drink, and yet they got $1 million. They're going to drink. They're going to get in fast cars. They're going to make mistakes. They're still kids. You got 15-year-olds idolizing people in the league that are a couple years older than them.
Wow. Ryan, close us out. Should athletes be required to be role models?
I'm going to go ahead and give you a wide answer here. Yes. Here's the reason being. First thing, for those of you who don't know, 54.1% of children don't have both parents in the household. That's the first reason I'm going to give you there. Secondly, with that being said, when you're a kid, if you don't have somebody in the household that you can look up to, if you're in the foster home or Fortunately, if something catastrophic happened or vice versa, and you're lost and you're trying to find your way, and if you play basketball, you play any kind of sport to get your mind off something, you always got to have somebody you look up to, whether it's LeBron James, Tom Brady, somebody to get your mind off that certain stuff. So being that when you get drafted to the NBA or the NFL, you're held to a requirement of standard, which means no trouble, to a certain extent, you're in the public eye all the time. So for you making that kind of money, you're held to that standard. Unfortunately, that's just the way business works. Do you know how many sponsorships the NBA has? They have 28 counting, and the NFL has 23. So what that means, for an example, if I sponsor your business and I don't like something that you're doing, I'm going to pull my sponsorship. So like I said, you're in the public eye. Little kids look up to you. All these big family-friendly businesses, State Farm, AT&T, Verizon, wireless, people everywhere. I mean, you got Walmart, you got all these places. They're all family-oriented. So what that means is if you got somebody that's acting out of pocket, eventually too many times, you're going to get pulled. So yes, you do have to be a role model if you're in those big positions. So like I said, for those many kids that don't have both parents in the home, and that many kids play sports, over 55% of the kids in today, as of 2022, play sports. So yes, you do need to be a role model.
That doesn't mean they have to be a role model. There's a difference between a role model and an idol, Ryan. An idol and a role model are two different things. And to require a professional athlete, including an 18, 19, or 20-year-old, to be a role model as a requirement for a kid coming out of college, I don't agree with that. I really don't. And I get your point about 54% of households are single raised, whether they don't have a mother or a father, but they do have a mother or a father. And that's 54% of households. There might be about less than 5% that are in the foster care system, which, by the way, they do have foster parents, or they do have someone, community outreach or youth build, different things across. And I'm from Philadelphia. I've seen that.
Right.
You have big brother systems. You don't have to require a guy that's a professional athlete that's on TV to entertain you, someone that you'll probably never meet, to be a role model. You can idolize them and want to be like them, but they don't have to be role models. You can't take someone that professionalizes a craft and make them into a leader in your life. Somebody said it perfectly in the comments. They said you should never meet your heroes. And I agree. The key word is require. You're right.
Yeah, and that's why I touched on the real human aspect of it. Those people that you see on TV, like Gene said, you'll never meet them. So like what you see on TV and what you see and who you think they are isn't really them. So you could be role modeling after a ghost, someone that doesn't exist. That person is not that person. You're wanting to be what you think they are. You've never even met them. You don't know what you want to even be like. With the foster system and stuff, I mean, if you go to school, there's a principal, there's a teacher you got to idolize. Like there's somebody out there that you can look up to and say, they're doing something right that I would also like to do. That doesn't have to be either a 30 or an 18-year-old man in the NBA or the NFL.
Right. I'm not arguing that there are other people out there, but not everybody's going to connect with them. You know what I'm saying? So like to be not have much and just to be able to turn on TV like, oh man, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you get paid that much,
it's good. It's good to have athletes.
Standard. Why not?
Ryan,
that's what I was
to have athletes that are role models.
As someone that grew up without a father and obviously came from a harder situation, but I'm not going to go deep into my life. But anyways, all I knew was basketball and to go outside. And every single time I played basketball, it was Tony Parker, 10, 9, 8. Like, that was just like, that was me. And like these athletes are literally, they're overachievers. They're literally the top 1% of their sport. Like, they have incredible discipline and dedication to the game. Like you said, it's like idol. It's an idol, but at the same time, though, like when you don't have somebody in your life that you like, family, friend, whatever, that you don't look up to, or nobody that's going to give you that motivation, why not look to an athlete, somebody that's, I mean, obviously, I mean, what if you do meet him, like I'm seeing Tony Parker play in real life. I didn't meet him like face to face, but still, like just going to watch him play like that was like a dream come true to me, so
I think to close this out, I can't help but jump in. I think that it's a very fine line with the choice of words here. It is really, role models are sometimes idolized. they become idols, which is the reason why when they let you down, it's like a national catastrophe. Let's revisit the Tiger Woods thing, who was, I don't want to start calling names, but I believe he was the one that, we can all remember and see how far he fell because he was idolized and put on a pedestal so much. So I think that is real careful, role model / idol. Bino, I love your answer because, that was your standard, and I think that's another word, standard, to reach for, not the standard, but a standard for somebody to reach for. I heard Bino say that. And so I don't think it's, it could be, the answer could be is depending on your situation. That's what I'm hearing. At least with Bino and Jane as well, with his father. It really depends on. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bino.
Can we pull that comment back up?
You good?
Or whoever.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
I don't know who was. The only thing I'm gonna have to say to that's gonna argument Jimmy Butler. Point in case, right there. Jimmy Butler is the sole proof of that he is an idol to many young kids that didn't have either parent. So
Jimmy Butler for the first 6 years of his career was a terrible role model. So I'll refute that by saying Jimmy Butler yelled, got in fights with his teammates, forced his way off the Minnesota Timberwolves, got in fights with his teammates in Philadelphia, threw TJ McConnell under the bus, one of the nicest guys in the league. You can hear that on the JJ Redick, the Old Man the Three podcast. Yeah, Jimmy Butler has evolved into a role model now. But once again, if you require Jimmy Butler to be a role model, also, if you require athletes to be role models, how many athletes won't be in the league? How many great athletes that aren't really the best role models wouldn't be in the league?
True. Like I said, with the dehumanization thing, you're asking an awful lot of somebody to just be perfect. Like that means like you're already one of the most stressed people in the world. You got to go out and perform in front of millions night after night. Now you can't go out to the club after and have a drink because if someone takes a picture of you getting a dance with a beer in your hand, you're on the spotlight for the next week as a menace. Heaven forbid it be anything more than that.
Wow. And with this comment, it was like he said, Christopher said, you might want to play ball because of LeBron, but LeBron is the one that's going to get you there. It's the coaches. Okay, you're right. But let me tell you about some coaches that I've had. Running back and forth ain't going to get me to the league. I promise you that. Like, it's about the determination and the grind and the work that you put in, and just watching LeBron on TV and seeing it on social media and seeing everything that he does to take care of his body. I mean, obviously he pays millions of dollars to take care of his body, but still just with the eating right, staying healthy, everything like that. So, I mean, you can look at it that way, but I'll look at it like, I mean, same with the Kobe thing that you brought up earlier, like seeing what he does to get in the gym, go eat, get right back in the gym, like that determination and that power just to get out there and do it instead of just trying to get somebody else to do it for you. It's just
y'all got me emotional with this question. Y'all got me emotional with this question. I had to really turn away.
And I'll go ahead and close it out. I'll close this out because and before we move on, because I really do believe that it really is I almost want to say individually based on where you are in your life at the time. And some people are looking for something to hold on to. And there are also plenty of people that are in their position, but then you have the role models from the house, like Gene is talking about. And that's where it differentiates. So
yeah, like there's no right or wrong answers here. All great answers for sure.
Yeah, agreed. No question. Let's move on to the next one. We really, this is going to be a good one here. Listen to this. You can only put one in the Hall of Fame. Only one. Barry Bonds or Pete Rose. You can only put one in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds or Pete Rose. Trey, let's roll.
Barry Bonds, easy. I think that's the greatest player of all time. Even before the steroids, he had a whole Hall of Fame career himself and then had another one after. Like Gene said earlier with the steroids thing, Barry Bonds was already a beast that just enhanced it. You watch Barry Bonds, he was still on base all the time. Pitchers were scared to pitch to him. He was hitting the ball every single time. And then he got steroids and then went out the stadium every single time. He was still a beast. I think he was the best baseball player to ever exist. There's an insane amount of stats for him. You just go ahead and look up crazy stats of Barry Bonds. The man had, if I'm not mistaken, more on bases than at bat appearances one year. Don't ask me how.
Ryan, come on, man. Barry Bonds or Pete Rose?
I got Barry Bonds, man, just because as a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, Barry Bonds was everywhere. His best season, his home runs. I'll take Barry Bonds for the fact of the bubble gum. I know this is going to sound stupid, but this is my reasoning. Every time I played baseball for 9 years. And honestly, every time, man, he was on that bubble gum. You know what I'm saying? I was just so excited. I'm like, yeah, I got the Barry Bonds bubble gum. He just meant a lot more to me in my life, and that's simply why I would put him in the Hall of Fame over Pete.
Bino, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Barry Bonds too. I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but I know a little bit. Like, that's one of the names, obviously, that I know. Just kind of going off some of his stats, the dude led the most career home runs, 762 home runs, most runs in a single season, 73. And when you lead the MLB in most career home runs and most career walks, that should just say something right there. So I'm definitely going to take Barry Bonds here.
Wow. That's 3 for 3 for Bonds. Jane, are you going to change the game plan up here?
Absolutely not. I can't. So let me give you half and half, right? So Barry Bonds is the answer, and it's the clear answer, but it's for a number of reasons. Number one, Barry Bonds led baseball in walks season after season. Did steroids have anything to do with that? Barry Bonds was a Gold Glove winner in the outfield 7 times as an outfielder. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he ever touched Balco. Barry Bonds is the greatest player ever to play baseball if you don't include steroids. Also, he never popped positive during his MLB career. Yeah, we all know he took it. We all think he took it, but he never popped positive in his career. Barry Bonds is the answer, and it's not even close. Now, let me tell you why it shouldn't be Pete Rose. Pete Rose is a scumbag. Pete Rose was one of the worst human beings you'll ever run across. I'm from Philadelphia. Pete Rose Charlie Hustle played for Philadelphia. Reds and Phillies. Pete Rose statutory raped women. Had sex with a 15-year-old and said, oh, that was over 50 years ago. Why don't you let it go, toots? He's still sexually assaulting women, still saying rude things on the air, still saying sexist comments on TV. Pete Rose bet on the game of baseball. He destroyed the integrity of the game of baseball. Guys, I can't argue any more for Barry Bonds than I can argue against Pete Rose. Not only should Pete Rose not be in the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose should be in jail. He should be in a friggin' jail. He's a piece of shit. And I apologize for cursing on the show, but he's an awful human being. And what he's done to women, he was 29 years old. He slept with a 15-year-old woman. Get out of here. No way. I'm sorry. Listen, I would love to get on this show and debate with you three about what you said and give the other side of the equation, but I cannot make an argument for Pete Rose. Pete Rose is an awful person.
Wow. Any rebuttals? Everybody agreed on the same thing, so it can't be any rebuttals. Let me throw this in. I didn't hear this.
After finding out that news, I definitely
Here's the rebuttal.
go Pete Rose.
Well, there's no
Barry
rebuttal.
Bonds wins.
Let's just add to it. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Barry Bonds has 7 most valuable player awards. If I'm not mistaken, that's you talking about maybe a record that won't be broken. Maybe that one won't be broken.
He won like 4 in a row too.
He had 8 Gold Gloves in the outfield, 14 straight All-Star appearances. He is a no doubt about it Hall of Famer. He should be in Cooperstown, and it's a disgrace that he's not in there now.
Wow.
Look, just some numbers to throw out there. 375, that would be his slugging percentages of all 762 of his home runs were magically transformed into singles. 38, that's how many more intentional walks he has in the entire Tampa Bay Rays franchise. 986 would be his OPS against pitchers in the Hall of Fame. 186, that was sorry, my stuff started lagging. Yeah, so I don't know what that one is. I'm done there, I guess.
You're good.
I mean, if you look at Barry Bonds' stats on the Pittsburgh Pirates before ever there was a claim of steroids, he had 127 walks in 92. He had a 456 on base percentage in 1992 before there even was a thought of steroids. So I'm sorry, not close. And Godfrey just said it perfectly in the comments. David Ortiz in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I like this one. Barry Bonds from 2001 to 2004 had a 47 WAR. That's a win over replacement stat. That means if you were replaced by someone else, the effective wins and losses your team would have if you weren't on the team, and that's crazy. 47 wins if you take him off his team.
Yeah, it's third greatest WAR of all time.
Wow.
I like
agree.
this record too. It says
Go ahead,
Barry
Bino.
Bonds and his father. Barry Bonds and his father had the most seasons with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases, and that was 5 seasons, and they're the only ones to ever do it.
Crazy. I think it's no question it should be Barry, and I agree with Gene 1,000%. Why he's not there in the Hall of Fame, I mean, I guess an argument could be made from folks that just don't like him, but this dude was the bomb. No question about that.
Well, he's not there because of the same reason Roger Clemens isn't.
Same thing. Yeah. A lot of those guys.
It's the steroid era. Really, there's a lot of old people on the voting committee, and they want to be as strict as they possibly can about the Major League Hall of Fame. I think they screw it up. If I'm being completely honest with you, they really ruined the Hall of Fame. We used to look forward to what players getting in the Hall of Fame this year. Did y'all just find out Scott Rowland got in the Hall of Fame? Because it kind of got breezed over because no one really cared about it.
Yeah, exactly. That was dynamic and an easy one to sound like to me. That may be one of the easiest questions that we probably had on this show since it started. Let's see if we can crank this up a little bit more. Let's get some controversy going. You can only build your team around one player. Here are your two choices: Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal. You got one player to choose from. You got to build your team around. Who are you picking? Bino, you the basketball man. Who you going with?
I'm gonna have to go with Kobe, just because. I mean, it's Kobe Bryant. He's the Mamba mentality. He's just a winner. He's a leader. He's not going. He ain't gonna put up with no bullshit. Like he gonna get everybody to work. Everybody gonna be in the gym. Nobody's gonna be late. We're gonna be working. And I mean, this man Shaq didn't even want to work on his free throw, so that just shows the difference between their like determination to the game. So, and Shaq was like a one-dimensional player. I mean, he was dominant on defense, but he was just unstoppable in the paint. I mean, if you can put somebody on him that could kind of slow him down, I mean, he's not really going to do much for you. But I'm definitely going to take Kobe here because he can shoot the ball. I mean, the dude was just a great scorer, and nobody could guard Kobe. He's gonna get his shot off anywhere, triple team, double team, it don't matter. Kobe's getting that shot off.
Wow.
I mean, he proved it. I mean, he won five titles. I mean, Shaq won, but Kobe winning those finals with Pau Gasol, that put an exclamation point on it for me. Kobe.
Come on, Gene, talk to me.
I can make an easy argument for either one. How about this, Big Tom? I'm gonna have some fun with this. Pick one.
Go with Shaq.
Okay. All right. So if I'm going to build my team around prime Shaquille O'Neal, it's going to be super easy to do that because he is going to draw a double team every single time he touches the ball in the lane. He's going to make 4 players around him absolutely better by being able to draw that double team and kick out to a wide open 3-point shooter, especially in the modern NBA of basketball. Shaquille O'Neal would stand in the middle of the lane and be absolutely dominant. He's unstoppable, and not to mention he's a ridiculous rim presence. So he's stopping all the wing players from getting to the hoop. You're talking about LeBron James. You're talking about Kevin Durant. You're talking about Giannis. Giannis would not, and I hate to say this, but if Giannis played against Shaquille O'Neal and prime Shaq would embarrass him. When he goes to the lane because Giannis can't shoot. So Kobe Bryant is a phenomenal player, but Kobe Bryant never seen a shot he didn't like. When you look at a Shaquille O'Neal situation, Shaquille O'Neal was double teamed, triple teamed, and still ultra efficient in the lane. And as soon as they double teamed him, he got to kick it out to the corner and get a wide open 3. So if I'm building my team, I'm building it with Shaq and 4 shooters and making it super easy to win multiple NBA titles. Not to mention, I'm going to give him the best nutritionist that money can buy.
Talk to me about what you think, Trey. Kobe or Shaq?
I think this is tough. I think I would go with Kobe, my personal opinion, just because I think Kobe has less weaknesses, which, you know, you don't get to necessarily. Let's say we're not building our dream team around this guy. If I just have to build off what I get, Kobe has less weaknesses. I can rely on him every single night. He's never going to take a night off. He's going to put in extra work every single day. He's going to bring competitiveness and standards to my team. Ain't nobody going to slack off. Luke Walton, I remember, came to practice hungover, and Kobe gave him 70 in practice and made his life hell just for being a rookie and staying out late. He's going to, like I said, bring a standard to the team that you have to fulfill. If I'm not mistaken, one time the team walked in either after the game or the halftime, he made everybody take their shoes off because they were wearing Kobe's just because he said they shouldn't have worn them. Back to the weaknesses thing. If my team is slacking, I can count on him to be able to do a little bit of everything. He can lock down the other team's best player. He can shoot, dribble, drive, pass. He can do it all. He's blocking shots, stealing passes, making things disruptive for the other team. And no matter how tough things get, I have him. He stayed with the Lakers through thick and thin.
Wow. Ryan, close us out, man.
See, this might be a little harder for other people, but I'm gonna have to go with Shaq just because if I'm building a team around Shaq, I know two things. One, he's gonna be down low and he's gonna dominate. So even if I got everybody throwing up bricks, he's gonna get rebounds. It's gonna happen. Like versus me taking Kobe, where kind of like to piggyback off what Gene said. For his shots, when he takes shots, he thinks every shot's a great shot, and I don't need that if I'm building around a team. If we're going off, modern day age, I don't need somebody that needs to have the ball in the hand all the time. I need somebody down low that can pick up the mistakes that other players are going to make and still take over the game. For an example, if I get, two other average players and I got Shaq, I feel like I can win more games because no matter if they mess up, Kobe can only do so much when he has the ball in his hand. I feel like Shaq's more of, that would be better on defense for down low when you got people driving like LeBron James, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, all those people that can drive to the lane very efficiently. I would need Shaq, to shut that shit down. So that's what I'm taking.
So any rebuttal to
yes.
I know you got one, but I want to say, can you go ahead and rebuttal what Ryan just said instead of Kobe and Shaq based off his standards? Can anybody rebuttal him on Shaq there?
I mean, I pick Shaq. I can rebuttal Shaq to Kobe if you guys want me to. I can make an argument for either one of them.
I'll rebuttal the Shaq thing with, like Ryan said, he needs a guy who doesn't need the ball in his hand. If you're building your team around Shaq, and let's say you have a bad year, you can't not have the ball in his hand. Shaq only averages about, I know it's an offensive rebound. They're tough to come across, but a big guy like him, he averaged 3 offensive rebounds for his career. If you got a night of them throwing up bricks, you're probably going to lose if the ball is not in his hand. Shaq was a menace, but if you build your team around Shaq, he needs the ball.
You said he averaged 3 rebounds a game?
3 offensive rebounds per game.
Offensive.
Through his career,
okay.
Which means if your team is throwing up bricks, you got three bricks you get back a game. Max, that's 9-point difference.
And that was my argument as well, like with the offensive rebound situation. And like Gene said, he would build a bunch of shooters around Shaq. And I just feel like personally, like if you're I don't know about everybody, but I know like later on when I was playing, like I shot a lot of 3-pointers, and there was nights I couldn't hit nothing. There was nights I hit everything, and just if
thank you for making my point.
Like you said.
So, also, thank you for making my point.
What
you made my point, Bino. You said it perfectly when you said that there's nights when you're hitting and nights when you weren't hitting, and that's the same thing with Kobe Bryant. But a lot of people talk about Kobe Bryant. He was 6 for 22 in Game 7. 6 for 22.
And even when Kobe was off, he was still giving you 30 points. Like he's gonna get fouled. He's gonna hit his free throws. And by the way, Shaq not hitting his free throws. Shaq is not hitting his free throws. If you got the ball in Shaq's hand in crunch time, we are fouling. Coach, I said foul him. We're gonna foul him, and he's gonna miss his free throws.
There's one player that beat Michael Jordan in the 90s in a playoff series, and that's Shaquille O'Neal. They also played with Kobe Bryant for 3 years in 99, 2000, and 2001, and Shaquille O'Neal won Finals MVP those years. He was the better player. I granted it was younger Kobe and beginning of Kobe's career, but if you're talking about building around a player, this man has made Penny Hardaway. This man has made Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade, and he's made the game easier for every one of them. Because when you're that big and you attract that much attention in the lane, it just completely spaces the court. Now think modern day NBA, Bino. Think modern day NBA. Yeah, Shaq's going to get his.
Modern day.
Can you imagine how much space that you would get for a three-point shooter on the outside when Shaquille O'Neal's in the lane? Also, can you imagine how good you have to shoot every night to be able to beat Shaq's teams? Because if you can't come to the lane with that big fella down there, you can't come to the lane with him. And the question was who you're building around, right?
We've seen it in the modern day, though. The modern day NBA, it's all about shooting 3-pointers now. I'm taking my big man. We're gonna do a pick and pop, and we're gonna keep Shaq out here on the outside. Shaq not gonna be down low. We're gonna have him out on the perimeter. We cooking that all day.
We run in zone, brother. We run in zone.
Also, we gonna shoot.
I don't see another
every time because you.
I don't see another center besides Joker maybe being able to even do anything with him, and that's just on the offensive side of it. Defensive, I don't see any other center in the NBA right now that's touching Shaq.
You're crazy because on offense, bro, Shaq is not keeping up with a lot of the.
Give me Porzingis, bro. I'm running Porzingis, bro.
Y'all not watch Prime Shaq? You're talking about old flabby Shaq. I'm talking about magic Shaq. I'm talking about running down the court faster than most guard Shaq. Shaq fool. You remember Shaq from 1994? Oh my Lord, that man was quicker than anybody in the league.
That's not my.
He's never seen these centers with
Lakers Shaq
perimeter like that.
Listen, Shaquille O'Neal. If I'm building my team around Prime Shaq and I get an opportunity to restart his career, I promise you, I'll make that man a 10-time NBA final. I will. There's no way. You guys keep thinking of old Shaq because that's what you've seen. If you see 94, 95, 96 Shaq, that Shaq that didn't have a lick of fat on his body.
He was special.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I just don't think. You said you're playing zone, then who's guarding Joel Embiid in the corner all game?
I'm running a 2-3, baby, all day. Shaquille O'Neal's playing in the middle of that 2-3.
That is fine because I'm spacing my big man out in modern day because he can shoot, and now he's got a guard.
You can play 5 across. That's and you're going to hope Joel Embiid shooting 33% from the corner is going to be good enough for you.
It's not going to be a thing, but he's going to hit it when he needs.
We running a 5-out, and we're going to shoot. And
I don't.
Going to get to his spot regardless.
I seen there's a comment.
Bring them traps.
Somebody say Porzingis.
Cottrell said Porzingis. I don't think there's a chance.
I said Porzingis. I said I'm taking I'm running a pick and pop with Porzingis on Shaq, and we gonna cook that. We cooking that.
Porzingis is too small.
Bro, if y'all play man to man,
he said pick and pop now.
Someone give Cottrell the points.
I just don't. Okay, I agree with the Bino thing. I'm running 5-out on offense, and now you guys have to play man to man.
That's if you run zone. That's if you run zone. If we run it man to man, I'm running a pick and pop on Shaq all day, and you are not stopping Kobe Bryant. I promise you.
I'm running 2-3 zone all day and having Shaq.
I'm running 5-out, and I'm just riding kick. You got to miss a rotate somewhere. You have to miss a rotation.
You're running 5-out.
Yeah,
so 5-out. You got 5 shooters.
We got it. If you get to have 4 shooters around Shaq, I get Kobe and 5 big man shooters. I get. If
I'm playing Golden State, who's one of the best shooting teams in the NBA, I don't stick Draymond Green. If I'm playing, listen, there's a lot of teams in the NBA. If I'm playing the 76ers and they got PJ Tucker, I'm not sticking PJ Tucker. If I'm playing, you can literally go through the team in the
NBA. Who are you leaving open on the 3-point line?
Average Al.
Average Al shoots above 30-35%. That's a good clip.
That's fine. We go from 30-35%. We'll live with Average Al shooting 30-35%. Because Shaq's shooting 60% from the lane.
I'll take it because we got Malcolm Brogdon, who's got one-on-one when we run the 5-out. We got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
One-on-one easy when you're playing 2-3 because you're funneling everything to the middle, and Shaq Diesel's in the middle.
And Shaq Diesel can't stay in the middle, though. I've got 4 people on the perimeter. When I drive and Shaq comes down to rotate, I'm just kicking out. If you get a rotate over there to my 3-point shooter, he kicks one more.
First, I want to know who our other 4 is before we start making the Celtics argument because that's not fair.
I'm also talking about the greatest mid-range shooter, Kobe Bryant. I mean, if I drive right and I'm pulling up for that mid-range, that corner's gonna have to step up, or that wing's gonna have to step up. If not, then we swing in the rock. There's an open
I
shooter.
don't care how good of a mid-range shooter Kobe Bryant is. He wasn't more efficient from 2-point shot than Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring
I
that
said
up.
I'll give Kobe
I
Bryant
wouldn't either.
6 for 22,
Like I said,
and I'll take Shaq and his shooting percentage down below.
but I'll also take a guy that can hit 2 free throws with a torn Achilles over a guy that can't shoot 2 free throws healthy.
Bro, listen. I love Mamba.
Wow.
I love
Wow.
Mamba.
Yeah,
bro.
I know. You arguing the other side.
Just for fun.
We could have just let y'all just roll, because this is what it's all about. This is what a 5-star.
AD.
Kobe and Shaq, here we go. It's just like a battle royal. Everybody going off. Everybody talking zone defense, talking pick and pop, pick and roll, boxing one. I mean, good Lord. I mean, I'm just enjoying listening to y'all.
I'm just
This
throwing
is great.
every
Chat
time.
line, y'all even got the chat going. I mean, I can't see them all, but the chat is going crazy over here. So this is what how in the word Al Horford. Good Lord mercy.
Yo, Control needs the points.
I'm not taking Al Horford though. I'll take
Okay.
Kristaps.
I'm taking an Al Horford wide open 3 every possession if you're gonna leave him open.
All right. If that did something, I'm almost scared of this last one. Before we get to the bonus round, here's the last topic of the night, gentlemen, and I know this is gonna be crazy. Pick one player in the entire NFL to build your team around, and that could be offense or defense. Again,
I have a
pick
question.
one player in the entire NFL to build your team around, offense or defense.
Is
Ryan.
that current NFL like 2023?
Yeah, we'll just go for now. We don't want to go all time. We'll be all day with that one. Let's just go now, present day.
Gotcha. Am I starting?
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
All right, bet Patrick Mahomes. This is too easy, man. I don't know what else to say, because I can replace almost anybody else. Like there's not another person that has Pat Mahomes his arm strength. There's not another person that is more efficient, like in the playoffs as far as Super Bowls. I mean, look what he's already done. I think there's a good chance he beats Tom Brady in the amount of rings he's going to have. You just can't keep reciprocating that. I just don't think if you start, I don't care. You could give me Ray Lewis at linebacker. Obviously, we're not going backwards, and I'm still not taking him. You could give me, so many great players. You give me Calvin Johnson. I'm still not taking him, because Pat Mahomes, the NFL's coming to the best defense's offense, and the Chiefs have shown that. When you have to put up so many points because if your defense is lacking behind, that's the new defense for the Chiefs have showed, because Patrick Mahomes is that guy. So Patrick Mahomes easily.
Wow. Bino, talk to me.
Yeah, that one was too easy. I would definitely say Patrick Mahomes as well, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna take a defensive player this time. And this is for you, Big Tom. Hold on. Now I ain't even gonna get up there and grab the jersey. But anyways, Michael Parsons. They already know who it is, Big Tom. We taking Michael Parsons, man. He's generational talent. Definitely the best rusher in the league, in my opinion. Might be a little biased, but the most sacks in his first 2 seasons since Von Miller did it with 30 sacks. And to be honest, Big Tom, how many times did he get held? How many times did he get double teamed? I mean, if it was 1-on-1, that man was going to get 33 sacks in a season easy. So I definitely say Michael Parsons. He's a leader, man. We were the worst defense in the league before we drafted Michael Parsons. Went from the worst defense in the league to a top 10 or top 5 defense in the league. And now we look at us now. We up there with the top 3. So
wow.
I'm definitely going with him.
Wow. Trey, let's roll, baby.
Just for the sake of it, man, I'm going to go with a defensive player as well to make it interesting. I'm going TJ Watt. I think he's the team player. I'm looking at it right now trying to find this. Without TJ Watt, the Steelers are horrible. With TJ Watt, they have like a 7. If TJ Watt plays 50% or more of the snaps for the Steelers, they're a 70% win team. He has the most sacks in his first 72 career regular season games in the NFL. He holds many Steelers records in the first X amount of years, too. I think when you have TJ Watt on the other side of the field, it doesn't matter if he's having a game, you can win. He can stop a whole offense, not just one. He's a crazy athlete. He's still young. if I'm not mistaken, he's been injured a couple handful of times, not anything crazy, but these are stats with injuries that he has the most career sacks in the first 72 games. I don't know how many seasons that is, but I'm going TJ Watt. I think he's the most valuable player on defense. You can win games just off that one guy. If I can build a good defense around him, or even a solid stay on the field offense to keep him off the field, then we can win games, make a playoff run easy. Super Bowl's next.
Wow. Jane?
So I'm going to take a shot at the people making the questions for these. I'm going to, because listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't make a question if you don't want the obvious answer. There's one obvious answer for this question. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's dumb. Even Bino, even Trey, even they're like, oh, listen, for argument's sake, we'll make up. We'll say Micah, or we'll say TJ Watt. But every one of them knows the answer is Patrick Mahomes. Like, what are we talking about right now? Patrick. All right, so let me ask you a question real quick. What's the most valuable position in football? What position? So it doesn't matter. If you had Micah Parsons last year in the NFC Championship game, Micah Parsons on that San Francisco 49ers defense, do they beat the Eagles? No, because when the quarterback got knocked out of the game, nothing mattered anymore. You're talking about the most important position in football, quarterback. It's the only position, if you don't have one, you can't win. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best at it by far. And listen, I'm going to take it a step further, right? 2 years ago, I was laughed at on my podcast when they asked me who my comp is for Patrick Mahomes. And I said, Michael Jordan. And they looked at me like I had three heads. What do you mean? I said, there's no comparison to this man. He's athletic. He's competitive. He's got a cannon for an arm. There's no comp in NFL history to this man. And he's still young, and his teammates love him, and they fight for him, and he wins Super Bowls. It's Patrick friggin' Mahomes, and y'all can give me no points, and I'm fine with that, because the right answer is Pat Mahomes.
I want to address this comment. Dylan said Ryan should have said Lamar. Now, had the question been said starting 2023, excluding like one player from offense, one player for defense, and if that was it, hell yeah, I'm going to tell you it's Lamar. But the question is, if you were starting with anybody right now, I'm going to say Pat Mahomes because that's my non-biased and he's still available on the answer. Yes, I know Patrick Mahomes is better than Lamar. Could I make it valuable?
You want to argue second? We'll argue third. I'll argue fourth. What do you mean excluding one player? Patrick Mahomes sent Tyreek Hill to Miami. Instead, I'll still win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
We don't need a wide receiver one. What are we talking about, man?
He said
I feel like I'm in the Allen Iverson press conference talking about practice, man. What are we talking about, man?
The Chiefs don't even show up to the stadium until November, okay? You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Patrick Mahomes.
That's
Let me go at Trey real quick. And it's really not going at you. I just want to ask you a question. You said TJ Watt, and I don't know if you're factoring in injuries or whatever, maybe so. And correct me if that is the case. But who's better? Is Nick Bosa better than TJ Watt?
I don't.
In your opinion? You don't think so?
TJ Watt is the backbone of his team. With last season when he got hurt, 7 games into his injury, they were 1-6 with 5 takeaways and 8 sacks. In the 4 games they had him, they had over double the takeaways with 11 and almost double the sacks with 14 compared to 8, and they lost 1 game.
Micah is the best defensive player in football. TJ Watt is second. He's much better than Nick Bosa. I'm sorry, but I want to address this comment right here that Dylan just put up because I know Dylan came up with the questions, so he's trying to give a little bit of a rebuttal. Mahomes also lost to the Bucs, so their GM clearly did something right, and he didn't pick Mahomes. You know what Mahomes also lost the week before he played the Bucs? His offensive tackles on both sides of the football. Guys, football's played with 52 members. You asked who I'm starting a franchise with. I'm starting with the best player. It's Patrick Mahomes. Now, if his left tackle and his right tackle are hurt, if you got the AFC Pro Bowl team on one side and Patrick Mahomes on the other side, of course he's going to lose. That's not what the question is.
If you put
Mahomes.
If you put 32 drafts in front of every team and you made every team fill out 32 different drafts and every different draft had a different team at number 1, so you had every team got a chance to pick number 1, The number 2 through 5 pick would vary. They would all probably be considered a couple of the handful of the same players. They might not always take the same guy at 2, 3, 4, or 5, but the same handful of players are going to be shuffled around 2 through 5. But Patrick Mahomes would be number 1 on all 32 teams list if they restarted the NFL right now.
You are correct, sir.
No question.
Yeah.
If you get
I
Patrick
definitely
Mahomes,
agree with the Patrick Mahomes. Go ahead, Ryan.
my bad. I was just saying you could give me Darius Hayward Bay with Patrick Mahomes, and I'm still taking Patrick Mahomes.
What's the Browns quarterback that went to receiver that I would take if I had Patrick
Oh,
Mahomes?
Terrell Pryor?
Pryor? Yeah, I would take if Terrell Pryor was my wide receiver 1 with Patrick Mahomes, I'm making the playoffs.
Facts.
Patrick Mahomes is going to win a Super Bowl with the receiving core.
He said, give me prime Jason Kelce or a healthy CMC. Well, the San Francisco 49ers had prime Trent Williams and a healthy CMC. And where did that get them without a quarterback?
Wow.
Side topic, though.
And
You said if the Niners
wanna-
Go ahead.
I mean, I agree with the Patrick Mahomes thing. Like, obviously, he's the best player, whatever. But with TJ Watt and Michael Parsons, if I had to choose between them, I'm definitely taking Michael Parsons.
You can't say
just based
definitely.
Wow.
You can't. Because your argument's one or the other, right? If you want a speed rusher, you got Michael Parsons. If you want a guy that creates off everything, you want TJ Watt.
But Michael can also play coverage really well.
100%. TJ Watt
He's not the best.
TJ Watt's not what?
He's not a slouch.
He's not the greatest. He's not the
coverage.
greatest. I'm not saying he's not decent, but he's not that great in coverage.
TJ Watt can drop in coverage. He can get after the quarterback. He can stop the run. He can get to the quarterback. He creates turnovers. His defense follows him. Dude, listen, I said Michael Parsons, the best defensive player in football. He reminds me of Lawrence Taylor. But let's not put down every other defensive player in the year and say it's no doubt about it. I'm taking Michael Parsons over TJ Watt. There's no way. TJ Watt's incredible.
Sure.
You could give me Henry Ruggs. It's still in.
Bro, this man, Michael Parsons, had a broke hand last year and was still getting sacks, bro. He's still
You
getting
can
sacks.
give me Henry Ruggs, and I'll still take Patrick Mahomes, and Henry Ruggs can stay where he's at.
Wow.
I'm glad you said that Micah Parsons thing because dating back, they picked Trey Lance over Micah Parsons, and they would have beat the Rams with Micah Parsons and Bosa on both sides of the line.
That would have been unfair. No
yeah,
question.
I make fun of people that support Trey Lance all the time for that. He was a number 3 pick, and they passed on people like Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons for that. That's funny.
Yeah, that would have been unfair. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard these 4 guys go at it. You've heard pretty much tonight was a little different. They pretty much agreed, which is what we don't want, but some of the questions were tailor-made for agreement. But you would get different perspectives on what's going on now. Listen, right now we're tallying all the scores now, trying to figure out who our last 2 will be. In the meantime, we appreciate everybody that has watched us. These 4 guys who have battled tonight again. I appreciate everybody that have participated in the chat line. Before you leave, please go ahead and just hit the like button now. Everybody, do that now. Like 1, 2, 3, go. Hit the like button. Ain't gonna cost you nothing. Bam, just like that. See, didn't even take you no time. Hit the like button if you like the content that these guys put out tonight. If you like the host, which is me, and everybody should like me. I don't know what the problem is if you don't. But hit the like button for me. Hit the like button for our producers in the back who have gave these questions on tonight. It's been an outstanding night. Listen, we come to you at this particular time every Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Every Thursday night, we're going to be here going at it. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This is the reason why you really need to stay with us, because guess what? Football hadn't even started yet. Can you imagine the debates that's going to be going on once football, college, and pro get started? I mean, it's going to get ignorant around here. I'm going to make sure of it myself because y'all know where I stand at. I try to stay in the background here. Sooner or later, me and Gene are going to go at it. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Yes, sir.
Because we're on 2 opposite ends. He's an Eagle fan. I'm a Cowboy fan. Bino's a Cowboy fan. I think Ryan is a Raven fan.
Baltimore, yes, sir.
Trey, who you roll with? I don't even know who you roll with.
He
Packers
got
fan.
multiple teams.
Oh, he got multiple teams. Okay. So it is the fireworks have not even begun yet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Football season is around the corner. We're getting real close, and that's when it's really about to get real crazy on tonight. Before we leave, I need everybody to follow these guys. Bino, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on the Sports Empire Network. Like I said, I'm still working on getting on some more shows. But shout out to everybody for tuning in tonight. And yeah, like you said, make sure you hit the like button, share, and appreciate y'all.
All right. Ryan, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
You can find us at the Guys Huddle. It's that logo down there at the right-hand corner. We go about live 4 times a week, including this show. So we got Sunday. We got the boys out there doing the wrestling show. If you're a big wrestling fan, make sure you check them out. We also got a show Monday and Wednesday as well, including the show tonight. Also, if you didn't know, make sure you check out Sports Empire Network and Wire to Wire. We got some great guys over there, some interesting content. And I like my favorite show so far is I believe it's called Facts or Cap. I believe is one I've seen. That's my favorite one so far. It's you definitely hear some cap and some facts on there. Let me tell you, you get a little bit of both. So,
wow. Trey, tell everybody where they can find you, my brother.
Man, you can find me 3-4 times a week on the Guys Huddle podcast page. You can find all these wonderful people at their respective websites, being Sports Empire. You can scroll through NSN, man, and see everybody's face. Go show some love. Make sure you share everything you like, man. Make sure you comment all your opinions. Tell everybody what you think. Make your voice heard in the comments. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys show love to all these nice people that come out for us. We got Big Time, the host with the most, and we got 2 competitive people with Bino and Gene that just want to come out here and talk, man. It's all love.
Wow. And last but not least, Gene, tell us where everybody can find you, man.
Listen, I'm so tired and delirious today. Monday night Cheap Seats podcast, Wednesday Wire to Wire Sports podcast, Thursday night Birds Deep and pregame and pigskin, and the Guys Empire Thursday night at 10 o'clock. Sunday morning drive comes back Sunday mornings. I can't wait. I can't wait to keep getting into football. Sports Empire Network, the Guys Huddle, Wire to Wire Sports Podcast, Notoriety Sports Network. Hey, listen, you can hear it. You listen to us 5 tonight. And by the way, if you haven't already, please listen to Big Time, because my man knows what he's doing. My man's cooking something in the kitchen. And and the music in the background is what makes the show. He got the music with the voice. It's perfect.
Yeah. And I was going to close out. I appreciate that shout out, Gene. Listen, it's simple with me, everybody. If you want to follow me, just go to the Big Time Show, Facebook or YouTube. You can go that route. I got Twitter and everything else, but let's go with the easy ones. The Big Time Show, Facebook or YouTube. That's all you have to do. Follow me there. You'll be good. I'm on Sports Empire Network and I'm on the Notoriety Sports Network as well. These guys are awesome. Really, it's just been a great show tonight. Again, we have our 2 finalists tonight, and the finalists are Trey and Gene. Y'all, look at y'all. Somebody look like they're about to go crazy already. Look at y'all, just calm down. Yeah, we're gonna get it big together next week. Trey and Gene are about to go at it for the final bonus round question. Bino and Ryan, man, we appreciate you. We'll see you on next week, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man.
Way to kill y'all.
All right. And as they leave out, we'll get ready for Trey and, of course, the defending champ, who once again slides to the finals again. Let's see if Trey can get it done tonight. He made it this far. Let's see if he can get it done. Or will Gene bite down on that title that he got? He ain't giving it up. I mean, if he gonna stay up all night, I mean, he might as well just go on keep the belt with him. I mean, ain't no question about it. Yeah. And let's not prolong it anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the bonus round. Our defending champion Gene and Trey are here. This is the last Question of the night, the bonus round question. Here it is, gentlemen. Should the NFL and NBA both allow players to enter the league directly out of high school? The NBA and the NFL, should they allow players to enter the league directly out of high school? Trey, let's go.
I remember when not I obviously remembered exactly when it changed, but I remember when I was checking into why, when I was younger, why that had changed. I agree with a lot of the reasonings they did it in the first place. An athlete could be in a summer workout before his first ever official game in the NBA and blow his knee out and never be able to play again. They like you to get that year of schooling in so you have something to fall back on. You can always go back to school. You learned something. You got your foot in the door somewhere. If you blow your knee out, career-ending injury, you can go do something else with your life. You're not stuck being a washed-up athlete or anything. I think it's good on the body to get a year of development in there in the college league where everything isn't as fast-paced. That's one of the biggest things they say changes from college ball to the league in any sport is pace and how fast the game moves. I think that year of adaptation for skill and for physical reasons are a big thing.
So
Wow.
it's a really interesting question, right? And you said for the NFL and NBA, like I have to give you the same answer for it. I can't do that. And my man Cottrell said it perfectly already in the chat. Especially with NIL. When NIL came out, the answer would be NFL. It has to be no. It has to be no. These kids are just not developed enough. It's the most physical game you can play. And the argument about pay, the NBA I will get to in a second, but the argument about pay as a whole, it's the NIL will become to be able to pay you. You can make money off your name and likeness. For the NBA, 100% you should be allowed to go directly from high school to the pros. And this is the reason why. If I'm 18 years old and I'm graduating high school, I have responsibilities. I'm an adult. I need to be able to pay bills. I need to be able to have a job. My job is to be a professional athlete. I need to be able to provide. I can develop in the NBA developmental league, which they have, which is the G League. They can put them there to develop. In the NFL, there is no minor league system. You're going against 30-year-old Aaron Donald, who will put you in a casket. You do not. I can't do that as an 18-year-old. But in the NBA, the situation they have with the developmental league, it makes no sense to not allow a player to go pro. And I actually think what they're doing is screwing up the college game in college basketball by forcing these kids to go to college, the one and dones. I think it'll create a much better game for college basketball if you have guys that legitimately want to go to college to develop their game. They play 2, 3, 4 years instead of just the one and dones and the cycling out and a lot of the dirty things to get players that have nothing to do with college to go to college. One prime example, let's look at Ben Simmons. Guy never wanted to go to college. He quit on his basketball team. He was terrible. He was an awful teammate. He was awful at school. He didn't graduate. What does that help him? The only reason I say for football, you cannot go directly to the league is because of the development of players, and there's no developmental league. So the answer would be yes for the NBA and no for the NFL.
Wow.
I think
you got any rebuttal? Go ahead.
I like the NBA's aspect of having a one and done rule because, like I said, with the injuries, you could go and before you ever get paid, you ever play a career, you ever get a big contract, you could be screwed. You could never play another game again. And then if they allowed that and opened the door back up, how many people would fall flat? People like Ben Simmons. What if he never would have been a year in college? And there's so many people that are hyped up in high school nowadays. There would be people entering the league left and right that potentially could have went to college and been a superstar in the league with development, and they go into the NBA, and even if they start in the G League, the developmental league, and they're not ready for it, and they just fall flat, and they're wasted career now. They spent their whole life doing it all through high school. They thought they were ready. They weren't. They jumped up. Now they don't even have a spot on a developmental team because they couldn't make it ever, compared to if they would have went to college, got some structure. The jump from high school to college, coaching, locker room experience, the travel gets you set up for it. The trainers you get access to from college to high school level is immense. All the resources you have in college can be very useful to set you up compared to if you went straight to the league because you thought you were ready and you fell flat and never made a career out of it.
So, Trey, if I'm going to break this down even further, only 20% of one and done players actually go to class. They actually graduate 1 year of college. So what they're essentially doing is they're going to a college, they're making money and notoriety for that college, and hopefully the NIL pays them to do that. In the NBA, they have a developmental league. You can play professional basketball and get paid to do it as a job. Let me ask you a question, Trey. Should I force you to go to college for any profession that you want to get in as an adult? Now, the NBA, if for the NFL, it's different, right? It's a physicality thing. You can't put an 18-year-old underdeveloped kid against these 35, 30-year-old grown men. In the NBA, the physicality is not there, and there is a developmental league. So what you're saying is you're going to basically force kids into like a boarding school or into like a situation in which they have to learn, or when only 20% of them are actually taking it serious to graduate just 1 year from college. They're not taking that opportunity serious. So allow them to earn money. Just like if I went to a trade school when I got out of high school to be better at my craft and get paid while I did it.
And I see that and I get that. But then again, that's where I draw back to like the injury standpoint. Even if you do go to the G League, you're not making enough money. Like, yeah, it's your job. They make $45,500 a year. That is enough. People make that work.
For an 18-year-old, it's plenty of money. For an 18-year-old, it's plenty of money.
For maybe 1 year. If you get hurt that 1 year and you have nothing to fall, at least, like you said, they don't take it seriously.
They go to college afterwards. They're not restricted from going to college.
You have a year in the books now. You're ahead of the game. We tried to set you up. If you chose to slack off and not go to class, that's on you if you blow your knee out before your first game. Or if you play 2 years in the G League and you're 22 now, 21 years old, you have $100,000 that's been blown through because you thought you were going to the league and now your knee is blown out. You never play a game again and you slacked your thing. At least we tried. We tried to help you have something to fall back on, and you chose to. That's just their way of protecting. I think it would be a bad look.
But you're protecting adults. You're not protecting kids. At that point, you're protecting an 18-year-old that has something to live for and a family and might have to go to a job. For every situation that you're talking about in which an 80%er that doesn't go to school, there's people that go to the NBA developmental league that are taking care of their family. Also, look at NIL deals as a whole, right? Not everyone's guaranteed an NIL deal. The third, fourth, fifth guy on the bench isn't guaranteed an NIL deal. How does he earn income? How does he earn money? What if he has a family? How many people in his age, 18, 17, 16, are having children already, have responsibilities? And we just talked about earlier on the show about fatherless parents, about fatherless children, about motherless children. Sometimes they don't have an opportunity or a choice. What I thought was criminal was the fact that they were forcing these kids to go to college and there was no NIL deal to be able to pay them anything. So you need to follow your dream and you can't make any money doing it. What if I have a child?
Then you can go play. If you think you're good enough to play in the NFL or the NBA or even the G League players are just as talented, if not even better than overseas players. You want to skip your college, go play overseas.
Well, that's what the G League did. You still get paid. Then what's the difference between overseas and the G League? The developmental league.
We gave you a chance. This is how we do it here. We don't want you to go and screw your life up trying to jump college. We think it's a good. So now you go over there, and now look, people have done it, and it's fallen flat. It's not worked.
Can't force schooling on kids, Trey. Can't force it. And that the statistics show you can't force it. 80% of them aren't even graduating 1 year, aren't even getting 1 year of the credits. That's terrible.
That's a will issue, though.
Agreed.
Have more will. This is what we require. We don't want you to go and mess your whole life up.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this closes out another powerful night. This is not bad for our third show. I mean, this is pretty good. I mean, this stuff is getting good. We're still tallying up, and I'll let you know in just a second. But how about everybody? What I need you to do right now, and I just want to see how my audience is. I mean, let's see how you respond. I don't know what you are, if you're on your phone or you're on your computer or whatever the case may be. This is what I need you to do. I need you to put some hand clap emojis. Y'all got all these hand clap emojis. I need y'all to clap it up for my two guys right here because they went to war in this bonus round. Go ahead and do it real quick. Do something. Thumbs up. I just need to see it. I'd rather see that in the chat line. Let these guys know that you appreciated the effort that they had on the night. There it is. I see one. Thank you, Key. Key Williams with the hand clap emoji. Somebody else, it's got okay. Patrick, I see you with the fire emoji. Cartrell, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for that. You are entertained. There's no question about it. And guess what? I really didn't have to do nothing tonight. I didn't have to go crazy tonight. These guys are flat out awesome. And I got my votes in. Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, on tonight, we have a new champion. Trey, who stepped up big tonight. Trey is the winner on tonight. Gene, of course, is always dynamic and passionate and powerful in his takes and his responses. But on tonight, the judges feel that Trey did the job tonight. So, Trey, congratulations. Somebody finally took down Gene, and I got a feeling y'all going to be in trouble next week because I know Gene just about to explode on y'all. Enjoy it for now. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy it for now. This has been a great night. Again, follow all of these guys that you saw tonight with their perspective. Gene, you just about going to see Gene every day, wherever you are. Trey is the same way. I'm too old. I ain't getting there. I need to go to sleep at night. I can't do what I used to do. So don't even worry about that. But on tonight, I need you to follow Bino. I need you to follow Ryan, Trey, and Gene. Thank all of you for hanging with us on tonight. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Listen, tell somebody about the show. Do us a favor. Why don't you even share the show on your pages if you can? You don't have to do it. I mean, just do it tomorrow. Do it tonight, whatever the case may be. Get this content out here. This is going to be a dynamic show. And like I just told you guys, listen, the fun part, at least in my view, have not even begun yet. The NFL, I mean, good Lord, it is about to get crazy on this show just in a couple of weeks. I mean, it really is. I mean, we could have did NFL topics tonight just from training camps across the country. We ain't even talking about Joe Burrow. We ain't talking about Zach Martin being out. We ain't talking about Jalen Ramsey today, of course, who's looked like he had surgery. I mean, we ain't even talked about some of this stuff. And the Eagles are going crazy. I mean, everybody, the Chargers. We ain't talked about Justin Herbert's contract, and is he really worthy of that type of pay? I mean, we could talk all night, y'all, but that's why you got to come back, and you better come back next week, Thursday night. We appreciate everybody for tuning in with us. We'll see you next week. Congratulations, Trey. Awesome job on the night. Gene, awesome as usual. Bino, Ryan, appreciate all y'all. This has been the Guys Empire Podcast. We'll see you on next week. Holler.